This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports Chaco. We're delighted to be joined once again with the main man from Dublin, Paul Ryan. How are you, mate?
All good, Stephen. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. I think this is probably now your third or fourth interview. I last interviewed you a week out from your third pro fight in February.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've sort of doubled your record since. Obviously, we'd sort of caught you in the middle of your two first two round stoppages. You obviously stopped Damon Escobar and the Ulster Hall in November last year, and then a week out from a week after, obviously you spoke with myself. You obviously stopped CJ Wood in a round as well. You were sort of going through that period of just get them out of there. You just wanted stoppages, but you've obviously now doubled your career since, and just passed a year as a pro as well. So I'm guessing obviously you're enjoying this boxing game so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be active now. I put up, I think after my last fight, 4 fights in a year, which is really good going considering the pandemic and everything. We're getting in a nice groove now. I'm well mixed in with the gym, well gelled in. Everything's flowing really well. In a really good place, honestly. Happy out.
And I think you're probably pretty much coming up. Well, you wouldn't be coming up a year yet with Pete. I think he maybe around about this time last summer you probably linked up with Pete. So you're probably about a year in the gym probably with him now as well.
Yeah, about last May I came down straight after my debut. So like that, well integrated now, well used to calling it home. Happy out.
And like, I guess when we seen your last fight against Gabo Gorbics, obviously you put him down in the first round and we're going, here we go, Paul Ryan's at it again. But fair play to Gabo Gorbics, obviously, as we seen when he fought Aaron McKenna. I think it was Aaron McKenna as well. Aaron had him down early as well. It's just a tough nut, I guess.
Yeah, he's a tough old lad. Like, even looking through his box rec, he's been in with like Anthony Fowler, Hassan and Dam, Spike O'Sullivan, Aaron McKenna. And I think Fowler's the only one to stop him. And then even he won rounds against Hassan and Dam. So like he's no joke,
You sort of, I know when you're sort of saying, to get them out of there and everything else, do you find that obviously, I guess, with that being your second 6-rounder as well, does that sort of bode you well, the fact that you don't go, I didn't get another stoppage one, them 6 rounds could be probably very vital to obviously your development in boxing?
Yeah, of course. Like, I never go in looking for a knockout or a stoppage. I'll never chase that, but I hit hard. So you seen with Gorbix, as soon as I hit him, he went down, and then it was just for the next 5 rounds, he was on the defensive. So I think that's going to be the story. If lads come at me, I'm going to hit them and they're going to go down. Otherwise, they're going to go on the defensive. But I'm happy. The goal is to win, and anything in between that is just a bonus,
There's a sort of spitefulness sort of coming, I guess, with the caliber of training you're having in the Coliseum. You've obviously Tyrone and Sean and Gary and Sean and Kelly and Tony McGlynn all around the same sort of weight class as well. Does that sort of really world-class sort of sparring sort of help to bring you on a lot more?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the gym's a shark tank, especially at the moment. Like, you're seeing the lads going on to bigger type of fights. Obviously, Tyrone's been doing it for a while at the big level, but you're seeing Gary now doing his thing. Sean's obviously pushing on. So all that can do is make you rise with them,
Mm-hmm.
Like, now they're where I want to be. And next year, 2 years down the line, that's exactly where I want to be, top 15 in the world. So you're feeding off that energy and you're just making the most of it.
And obviously, I want to touch on obviously the moustache as well. Like, you and Tyrone seem to have a bit of a thing going at the moment. What's the crack with us?
We're just, do you know what it is? Me and Tyrone, we're just we're on our own wavelength. No one else in the gym gets it. Like, we'll rock the Crocs together, and we came out with the stash and all. So we're just doing our own thing, but everyone else in the gym's jealous about it.
Is it probably because some of them can't grow it probably at that level yet? You
I don't think
nearly say the next one will go with Sean. Sean will join the crusade.
They could all probably grow it, but I don't think they'd pull it off as well as us. I don't think it'd suit as much.
And obviously, is it a plan to keep it long term, or is it just obviously between fights that you're doing this?
No, I'll probably keep it. It suits me, I think so. I'll probably keep it going for a while.
And obviously then get the, you can sort of get the wee twisty parts, like Spike O'Sullivan has Spike with wee twisty parts at the end.
Yeah, we might do that. Yeah, or I might go full handlebar or something like that. We'll play around with it.
And how's the missus obviously taken to the moustache? Is she just Just it's a bit of banter.
She just leaves me to my own thing now at this stage. You know, she doesn't really get too into it because she knows if she says it'll just provoke me more.
Yeah, this is it. And obviously the next thing, the hair will be off and everything
Yeah.
else. You obviously, I think after your last fight, you were obviously then doing a bit of running commentary. I think you had a few drinks at one of the shows, and was it Steve Collins' fight you were at in Liverpool? You were doing a bit of a running commentary, so you're taking to the commentary task as well now.
Yeah, no, don't even drinks around them. I went live and I was just enjoying. I was having a bit of crack, but yeah, I just obviously I'm very close with Stevie, so I got it's a bit emotional. But Stevie's one of my best mates, and obviously he's my manager as well. So there was that, but it was a bit of crack, So that could be the future after boxing when the gloves get hung up.
It definitely was. Obviously, it was very comical. Obviously, the fact that you were probably the only guy in the whole arena that was obviously shouting for Steve, and everybody else was against you, and you were just loving every second of it.
Well, yeah, that was another reason why I had to go so deep in it. Like it was literally the middle of Liverpool, fighting a lad from Liverpool. So I was there with me boys. So I said, we may as well go all out.
You might as well.
I think, you know what? They were good fans there. They actually enjoyed the bit of banter, and we had a bit of back and forth with his crew and all. So it was good laugh.
And I guess in some ways, probably they probably just thought you were another fan taking it a bit too far, and then probably not realizing you were a pro boxer there supporting your manager.
No, that's it. They probably just thought, here's another bleeding mad Irish fella over. Just leave him to it.
Definitely was. You're obviously helping another Irish fighter there during the week as well. You're obviously helping prepare Jamie Morrissey for his BUA Celtic super middleweight title fight next week. Obviously, how was it? Obviously getting in with probably what you classify him as high tower. He's massive for the weight, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's about 6'5", but that's not the first time we sparred Jamie. I think about 3-4 times we sparred together, but it's good. They're enjoyable rounds. He's a good mover, good boxer, good fighter. So you can work on different stuff. You don't really see someone that height very often. So it's always good to get a look at a different body. But a good round to Jamie, and he's 100%. So hopefully he does the business and takes the belt home.
Fingers crossed. And his fourth pro fight as well. I guess everybody would love to be doing that in 4 pro fights. I guess it's just where the opportunities lie. Probably in some ways it was good for Jamie because I think Ben McGivern's probably around at the same height as you, so it sort of balanced him well to be punching down rather than just trying to prepare for somebody that it's super middleweight sort of.
Absolutely. Obviously, the weight difference sort of be a bit of speed on my side, so maybe that'll help out as well. But it's good, and it different getting in with southpaw and stuff like that. But like you said, the same height and all be good. So yeah, they were good rounds, good 6 rounds. You can never turn down rounds like that.
And obviously, I want to touch on obviously the fact that you've probably done your first bit of calling out. Probably towards the end of last week, start of this week. Well, I didn't sort of catch too much of obviously what went on. Was there a call out to you from Owen O'Neill, or was it was it?
No, it was nothing like that. So what it was so we'll backtrack a bit. When O'Neill's fight on Mark Dunlop's card originally got announced, we made an offer to Mark Dunlop to fight Owen O'Neill on that card. And Mark Dunlop said, no, we have an opponent. So fair enough. So then we said, what about after the fight? And he says, we just want to focus on this opponent. So that's fair, no problem at all. After the fight, we ring him again, make an offer. No, we've other plans. So then he puts up that he wants to have a domestic All-Irish fight headline. So I don't really understand what a domestic All-Irish headline fight is when I'm the number 1 ranked domestic fighter at super or light middleweight. So why would you not take the fight with me,
And I guess it's probably no malice sort of in the way that you want to obviously, the domestic sort of scene seems to be thriving sort of at the moment. Obviously, we have a couple of domestic showdowns on McConnell's card. You've obviously had Graham McCormick and Dominic Donegan fighting. You've obviously Jamie Morrissey obviously fighting for a belt there as well. So I guess it's probably in your way you're going, I'm now ready for a step up the 8 rounds for a Celtic belt. And that's probably the way you see it.
Well, no, I said it was a bit of malice because it annoyed me a bit, Like this, his whole record is padded, and then he says he wants to have an All-Irish headline fight. He hasn't fought one person actually live in the ring. It's just lying, making out that you want to have these good fights when you don't. You want to pad your record and go to 12-0 and see what you can do. But when it's actually there on the table, you turn it down twice, 3 times even. So that's kind of it. And like you said, the domestic scene is thriving. Well, it's starting to thrive a bit. So there's another 50-50 Irish fight that can just help it out for everyone, you know.
And I guess that's what everybody wants to see. Nobody wants to see you fighting people they don't know. I guess in some ways it helps you to sell tickets as well when they know you're in an actual genuine live fight rather than, you know, some guy coming in from Hungary that you just expect that they either blow over or just go through the motions with. You want them tests.
Yeah, of course I want, like, in every single fight I've had, I've actually been real live opponents, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My debut lad was 2-2. He had a full 12-week notice for the fight. The next lad was Damien, the Spanish lad who bet Dominic. He also had 10 weeks. The lad after that was 3-1. And then the last lad we just touched on was extremely tough. And every lad I have, they're getting 8 weeks notice at least. There's none of this stuff of calling people up 2 weeks beforehand, getting them out of shape and all. Like, we're making real offers because we want real fights, because I want to be a world champion and I want to hit them levels. And I know that's the only way to do it.
And I know you'd obviously said this in the past, you know, even before you'd made your pro debut, that the plans was to be a world champion and maybe multiple world champion at that as well. Is there anybody else you sort of maybe have your eye on at 154? Obviously, if the O'Neill fight can't get made, can you probably look at jumping the queue? Well, probably not even jumping the queue if obviously that you can obviously get a Celtic title fight against that sort of doesn't have to be, say if it is O'Neill, that you can sort of put something out there quicker and get sanctioned for a belt quicker that way.
So I will fight anyone. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just want to fight. Like, so over the last 4 weeks, we've been trying to find opponents. We've offered Inder Bassi from London, who's 8-1. He turned it down. We've offered Jack Martin, who's 6-0 from London. He's now the Southern Area champion. He turned it down. Liam Wells, 7-2, turned it down. Kyle Haywood, 9-1, the Central Area champion. He turned it down. We then offered the Spanish champion. I'm not sure his name, but he's 11-2. He turned it down. And we offered the Latvian champion, who's 7-1, and he turned it down. So if that's not an indication of the level I'm trying to operate at, you know, I don't know what is. I will fight anyone because I want to progress and I want to hit these good levels and I want a real challenge.
When you see opponents getting turned down, do you probably see it in some ways where you're annoyed and an opponent doesn't get locked in, but at the same time you're probably maybe taking it in some ways as a backhanded compliment?
Yeah, of course you have to look at it that way, and I do understand it's the business aspect as well. You know, you need to build prospects and stuff like that. But you see it time and time again, like these lads that pad their records up to 12-0 as soon as they get into a real level. So, you know, I don't know what they're trying to do. If they want to be professional boxers, put up or shut up, you know.
Exactly, and I guess that's a good thing to have. Like you're back out obviously 3 weeks tomorrow, in Essex, obviously for your 5th pro fight, and probably at this stage yet, are you probably still looking to get an opponent nailed in?
No, we have a guy nailed in. I've no idea about him. I don't know his name. I don't know. Like I told Stevie before, there's no need to send me opponents because I'll just say yeah. So I've no idea about him. But I know we have someone nailed in. So I'm happy out. We got that done midweek. So I'm happy out with that.
I guess in some ways probably you might take a frustration out in this next opponent that obviously others are turning it down. That, you know, you nearly probably sometimes do it where they do the old approach where it look bad on a fight and win so that somebody will say yes, or they just go and blow them out or just do my own thing.
No, I'd never carry an emotion into the ring, you know. Like I'd go in just completely calm, level-headed, because when you go in with emotion, you'll make silly mistakes or you'll do stuff that you shouldn't do. So I'd always go in just with the job at hand, get that done, and then worry about it after. So with this fight, like I'll do what I do. I'll box, whether it's 1 round, 6 rounds, I don't care. You handle your race at the end, and like I said, whatever comes in between that is a bonus.
And where would you obviously, you know, how many more times you looking to get maybe out another twice before the end of the year?
Yeah, I think I'd be able to push for twice. Like I know there's talk of a few cards in October, so that would work perfect. Then if you get one by December, why not? It'd work perfect. So finish the year, I think that'd be 6-0, 7-0. So it'd be good little sit in place, you know, going. Yeah.
And I guess that's the plan. Just keep fighting as you can get it, and if you can get an opponent for a belt in the meantime, as an added bonus.
That's all you can ask for. I just want activity at this stage, you know. Like I'm in the gym every day. I do 2 a day, 6 a week, you know, regardless of a fight date or not, so I can take fights whenever. So I just want to keep active, keep building, and just keep getting better. Like you just touched on there, if you get a good opponent, if someone steps up for a belt, so be it. If not, we'll just keep doing it and plugging along. We'll get there eventually.
And is there anything you'd like to obviously say to the opponent that's sort of turning it down if and them sort of looking at the interview? And, you know, I guess sort of sometimes you're a good fella as well, Paul. So I guess sometimes the frustration can sort of get out of it. But is there anything you'd like to say to these opponents sort of turning it down that might get them to reconsider and take you on in the future?
Yeah, take the fight. I won't knock you out in 1 round. I'll give you a decision.
It's good to get a bit of a bit of emotion out of you, Paul, because I guess
I'll give them a points decision loss. I won't do them in 1 round, right? I'll put that out to them.
It's good to see a bit of emotion sort of there, because at the end of the day, you know, everybody's fighters nowadays, and that's what you do. You're paid to fight and everything else, and you want to have good fights. You want to get tested. You know, you don't want to be going through the motions with people. You want to have a good test. You want these good names so you can build your record further.
Of course, and you know what the other thing as well is, like I've said it before as well, it's a business, you know. So you want people to come up and watch you fight and spend money and support you and, you know, give you a dig out. So give them a real fight, give them an actual night out, give them something to be excited for. So let them look on paper and say, Jesus, Paul has a genuine 50-50 fight. This lad's good. This will be a good fight. You know, give them something to be a bit excited about, have a bit of a talk about. Give them a night. You know, it's entertainment at the end of the day. So give them something to be entertained by, not just, oh, there's some tomato flying in from wherever in Europe, getting £1,000 and flying back the next morning, you know?
Exactly. You want it to be memorable. You want to be able to put in the work in the gym because you know you've got a good test, rather than going, you know what, maybe only do 50% today because, you know, the opponent doesn't deserve me 100% because I know I'm better than that. But you want someone to be making you bust yourself 10 times further in the gym because you know you're going to be in a really good test, and you want to be remembered for good nights as well.
Exactly, like that. Like, look at Tyrone. Like, everyone that talks about Tyrone talks about how exciting he is, the big nights he's in, you know, all the hype around his fights, and that's what I want. You know, I want to follow that path, make good nights, have good fights, you know, sell out arenas, sell out stadiums. Because I think, what else are you doing it for? You know, I don't want to just go, like I said, go to 12-0 with a padded record, and then as soon as I'm in with a genuine fighter, you don't know what you're doing and you crumble.
Exactly, and I guess if you're following the path of Tyrone McKenna, it's always going to lead to blood, guts, and glory, and hopefully plenty of money along the way as well.
Yeah, well, the blood and guts won't be from me, but the glory will be from me. And yeah, like you said, plenty of money along the way.
Definitely plenty of money adds up.
Yeah.
But Paul, obviously, well, thank you obviously once again for coming on and having a chat. It's obviously good to, I guess, sort of find out obviously the words behind obviously what the messages and stuff were, and I guess it sort of clears it a bit for anybody that probably needs to know. We'll obviously wish you all the very best for your fight in 3 weeks' time, and fingers crossed it's another win and another highlight reel knockout.
Yeah, please God, heads down, training's going good, you know, so all the boxes are getting ticked, so all we can do is show up and just do what I do, you know. But thanks for having me, Stephen. Always appreciate your time.
100%, Paul. Cheers. Take care.
Yeah, man,
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.